Here, our goal is to determine the size of angle A. Notice here, we have angle A right here. And notice that this triangle, angle A is an angle inside of this triangle. And notice each side of this triangle has a stroke or a line. This means that each side, which means that all of the sides, these strokes on each side of this triangle means that each side of the triangle is equal in measure. So each of these sides, or all of these sides of this triangle right here, are equal, which means that all of the angles are equal, which means that we are dealing with an equilateral triangle. And so that means that this triangle right here is an equilateral triangle. Notice that angles inside a triangle add up to 180 degrees, which means that if we take this angle and we take this angle and we take this angle, they should all add up to 180 degrees. Bear in mind that since this is an equilateral triangle, all of the angles are going to be equal. And so in order to figure out the size of angle A, we're going to say A is going to be equal to 180 degrees divided by 3. And the reason why we divide it by 3 is because we're trying to share 180 in 3 equal parts because there are 3 angles and all of them are going to be the same. 180 degrees divided by 3 is 60 degrees. And so that means that angle A here is 60, here is 60, and here is also 60 because all of them are equal in measure. Next, we need to determine what is the size of angle A. What we already know is here we need to calculate the size of angle B. We need to calculate the size of angle B. We already know the size of angle A. We need to determine the size of angle B. Notice that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. And here we have a straight line and we have 2 angles here at this common point. We have angle A and we have angle B. And angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees, which means that angle B is going to be equal to 180 degrees minus 60. Now, what is 180 degrees minus 60? Well, 180 degrees minus 60 is going to be equal to 120. And so that means that the size of angle B is going to be equal to 120 degrees. And so that's how we get 120 here. Next, we know that angle A is 60. We know that angle A is 60 degrees. We know that angle B is 120 degrees. But what we need to figure out in this question is we need to figure out the size of angle C. Now, this is an isosceles triangle. And we know that it is an isosceles triangle because this side length right here has 1 stroke on it. And this side length right here has another stroke, 1 stroke on it, which means that this side along with this side, they are equal in measure. And since they are equal in measure, that means that you have 2 sides of the triangle that are equal in measure, which means that you have 2 angles are equal in measure as well. And so that means that if this part is C, right? If this angle is C, that means that this angle is also C. So in order to figure out what C is, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 180 minus it with 120. So we're gonna subtract 120 from 180. Then we're gonna divide it by 2. The reason why we divide it by 2 is because there are 2 angles here that are equal. And so we have 120 divided, so we have 180 minus 120, which is gonna be 60 degrees. Then we have 60 degrees divided by 2. And 60 degrees divided by 2 is 30 degrees, which means that angle C here is 30 degrees, and angle C here is 30 degrees, and here this is going to be 120. And if you add 120 plus 30, that's going to give us 180, and so that means that B is equal to 30 degrees. And this is how we got our answer for this question.